This week, we got the end of the Jason Aaron Action Comics Superstars of Superman initiative, at least the beginning of it. That is the end of the Bizarro story is over. We are moving into the Joshua Williamson portion of Action Comics, which is going to cross over into Superman. And it's basically kind of like a little semi-event to get to the next pillar of the Trinity of Evil. I don't think even a lot of people are aware of this. It's certainly not something that's being talked about. But the Braniac Queen must emerge before we can get into absolute power. And it's also going to have some big ramifications regarding this Ultimate Style universe, which is going to be Scott Snyder on Batman, Jason Aaron on Superman, and Al Ewing on Wonder Woman. And when I said that, a lot of people were like, Al Ewing doesn't work for DC Comics. I don't even believe it. Well, I hope you believe it now, because Al Ewing is writing, I guess, the main story in the DC Comics Pride issue. And he's coming over and he's going to work in this Ultimate Style universe and do the Wonder Woman pitch. Now, I have heard some details. I'm not going to report on it. But I will say, of the three pitches or the details I have about the three books, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman's the most interesting. So we'll see how that one goes. But we need to get through the Braniac Queen and the House of Braniac, the big event brought to you by Joshua Williamson, who has dropped the ball basically every single time he's done an event, whether it be Flash War, whether it be Night Terrors, whether it be Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. The guy just cannot do events. But they're going to give him another crack at it, because I guess this one is important. And it's got to be the House of Braniac, because it's the House of L, so you got to have the House of Zod. It's the House of L, so you have to have the House of Luthor. It's the House of L, so you have to have the House of Braniac. Anybody that's a villain of Superman has to have their own house. Beginning on April 9 with Action Comics 1064, written by Josh Williamson, this next part of DC's Superman Superstars publishing initiative finds Brainiac's Khazarian army invading Metropolis in this action-packed, oversized issue. The Super Family and all the superheroes of Metropolis join the fight. But will they be enough to hold off Brainiac's lethal and crazed soldiers? Can Superman and Lex Luthor learn what Brainiac is searching for? He's not bottling Metropolis, so what is he collecting instead? And we know this will all kind of lead up to Amanda Waller, and then Failsafe, Batman and Zur-En-Arrh, and then Braniac Queen teaming up to steal all the powers from the heroes in Absolute Power. And then it will be basically kicking off this Ultimate Style universe that they're going to be doing. You know, I like Lobo. Obviously, you got Gazarnian, so that's going to be a part of this, and it's actually going to be kind of a big part of it. I didn't realize this at first. I guess I wasn't paying attention even when I was doing solicitations, but this is going to be bleeding in to a couple of other series, which I think is a mistake, because I don't know, if you're a Green Lantern fan, do you really want to read this Superman event? I've been enjoying Green Lantern. I don't think I really care what's going on there, even if Guy Gardner is going to be a part of it. And then you're also incorporating some much lesser talent than Josh Williamson. Even though Josh Williamson typically bombs events and he doesn't do them very well, he's certainly much more talented than Leah Williams. You heard that one, right? She's going to be a part of this, and it's all kicking off next month. And we do have some details in the future, starting with Action Comics 1066. It's all hands on deck for the Man of Steel and the Superman family. Now that the Braniac Queen is alive, Braniac has created his masterpiece, and all bets are off as Superman and his teammates witness a cosmic horror unlike anything you've ever seen. And after learning the true history of Braniac, Lobo will have to choose what side he is on before all hell breaks loose. As I mentioned, Lobo is going to be a big part of this event, and probably, I don't know, I guess outside of Superman, probably the biggest seller for the event itself. I mean, I like Braniac, House of Braniac, not really interested. I like Braniac, Braniac Queen, far less interested in that kind of concept. It's the same thing over and over. I'm surprised Josh Williamson didn't give her a really stupid name like Shush or any of the other stupid shit that he's been doing as of late when naming female villains or whatever. But I guess this is important stuff, and we shall see which side Lobo chooses as the Braniac Queen takes over. And we all know that Superman is going to lose, because ultimately all of them are stripped of their powers, as we have the three pillars of evil, the Trinity of Evil, whatever you want to call them, within DC Comics, teaming up with Amanda Waller at the lead. They better make Braniac Queen not very strong or not very smart for her to actually want to work for Amanda Waller, who's basically just a government bureaucrat, but I guess needs to be the centerpiece of everything DC Comics related in 2023 and 2024. Really exciting stuff there. But if you are interested in this Ultimate Style universe, which they haven't announced, but I guarantee you is coming, I don't know that this will be must read, but it will be the introductions of the concepts that will introduce this alternate reality, this other multiverse that's out there awaiting us, as if Earth 1 doesn't exist, or all these other concepts, or Earth 2 doesn't exist. The stakes get raised even higher on June 25th as this incredible story reaches its climax in Superman 15, also written by Josh Williamson. Superman is allied with Lex Luthor, and together they figured out how to stop Braniac and his queen, but it will take a great sacrifice. The Man of Steel and one of his greatest enemies will have to do the unthinkable to save their family and friends. This all leads directly into DC's blockbuster summer event, Absolute Power. As I mentioned, this is all kind of leading up to that. We've already had Amanda Waller established in basically everything. Basically everything DC Comics. She's in every series. She's in Wonder Woman, Green Arrow. She's literally in every series at DC Comics nowadays. She was the big reveal, I guess, in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, or was part of it. She was another big reveal in Night Terrors, and then obviously she ended up taking over Beast World and made the event less fun just for her being there, but obviously she's the big one that's been established. Zur-En-Arrh has certainly been established by Chip Zdarsky and Batman. We've been seeing this character a lot as he bounces around through different stories. It makes no rhyme or reason, but now he's in Failsafe's body. Failsafe has a new design, and I will give Jorge Jimenez this, a fantastic artist. The design on the robot Batman or Zur-En-Arrh Failsafe hybrid character is actually quite compelling. It's really, really cool, kind of freaky. Probably should be a little bit bigger, more density to the character. But the only thing really bad about the design are the fingers, which I don't know why anytime you have a robot that needs to connect to things, they have to have big, long, stupid, silly string fingers when you could just have a thumb drive in your finger or whatever fucking stupid outlet that you needed, like, I don't know, R2-D2 used to do. It's not that complicated, but everybody wants to give them silly string fingers for some reason. And obviously we're waiting the Braniac Queen during House of Braniac, and I hope you all are excited about this. But if you're reading Green Lantern or you're reading Power Girl, you are also going to be invited, or maybe even forced, to partake in the House of Braniac event and the coming of the Braniac Queen, so she can slay the Superman himself and rule over Earth, at least temporarily, before the heroes come back. And somebody that you don't expect will probably save the day. Brainiac's bid for total control continues to impact other DC superheroes as the Green Lantern Corps and Power Girl deal with the fallout of the Kazarnian Horde. On June 11th, Green Lantern number 12, Guy Gardner's bogus Lobo adventure gets even crazier, courtesy of series writer Jeremy Adams. And I'm really, really enjoying the Green Lantern series. I'm not enjoying the Green Lantern series because it has anything to do with Superman. I'm not enjoying the series because it has anything to do with Lobo. I'm not even enjoying the series because it has anything really to do with Guy Gardner. They mentioned Guy Gardner, Yugo Lobo, and that was basically the extent of it so far. But I guess beginning next month, the backup stories will be Guy Gardner on the hunt for Lobo, who obviously is a Kazarnian himself. And it should be outrageous. At least it's written by Jeremy Adams, who's actually fantastic. If you have not been reading Green Lantern, it's been absolutely amazeballs, and it feels like he's setting something up that probably should be an event. The recognition that the United Planets are actually evil and are trying to take everybody down, and they basically quarantine Earth and will let no Green Lanterns go near there because they know Earth Green Lanterns are the only people that can save the day. It's a really good concept, but I hope this doesn't become the main story. I know it's the backup story, I believe, in the first two issues, but they make it sound like maybe it becomes the main story. I'm enjoying the Hal Jordan stuff. I'm enjoying Hal Jordan realizing just how corrupt the United Planets are, what they've done to the emotional spectrum and all that kind of stuff. And we are also delving into that within Green Lantern War Journal from Phil Kennedy Johnson with John Stewart, a kind of a different take on it, much darker. And it's really cool. And you can see all this stuff coming together. And I would hate to see all the amazeballs shit Jeremy Adams doing that has Green Lantern fans going, oh, fuck, like get pushed to the side for an issue or two so he could tie into another Josh Williamson like failure of an event that basically leaves everybody going, man, I expected more from Josh this time. Why did we expect more? He's failed every single time he's done any of these crossovers and events and all that kind of stuff. On June 25th, writer Leah Williams teams up Power Girl and Crush with the Holiday Girls in a last-ditch effort to take down Goblin and his goons, take back their neighborhood, and shut down the Kazarnian threat on Earth once and for all. A surefire way to make people less interested in your event or realize that maybe I don't even want to jump in to begin with is including somebody like Leah Williams, who has essentially zero talent whatsoever. I don't know why she's still writing Power Girl. My assumption is, at this point, because Power Girl It's not going to be a backup story. This will be the main story within Power Girl. The only reason the series is continuing is because it's supposed to tie into Braniac or House of Braniac, Braniac War, I almost called it, House of Braniac, and be a major part in there or have some type of revelation. You know, we're getting Crush in there. I like Crush from the was it Adam Glass Teen Titans series? Thought it was a really good character, but they keep giving her to like Mariko Tamaki and Leah Williams now. So it's only really about her being a lesbian rather than her being, you know, the abandoned daughter of Lobo and what she's going through. Pretty cool character, but not in the hands of Aaliyah Williams, and basically diluting your event with lesser talents like Aaliyah Williams lets people know that you're probably not all that serious about it. And I imagine Power Girl gets canceled as soon as House of Braniac is over because the sales are in fact terrible and basically non-existent, and the story has just been really poor from beginning to end. I read the first 2 issues. I came back recently for one more, and it's just as bad. Actually, I'll take that back. I think it's worse now. You know, Leah Williams would need a tremendous amount of oversight and guidance for a real editor, a real story crafter, to actually get her anywhere near the fucking ballpark of a good story. And she's clearly not getting that at DC Comics because they are overworked and overtaxed within their editorial staff, and there just isn't enough time to take somebody that doesn't really have writing talent and make them into a writer. In the past, they would be able to do that, but they just don't have the time to do that anymore. So that is what's going on with House of Braniac, an event you probably didn't even know was going on. DC Comics have not heavily promoted this. DC Comics have not really been talking about it much. And I have heard little to zero scuttlebutt basically from anybody talking about this. It's going to be the introduction, not only of the Braniac Queen, but the mechanism or the reasoning for this Ultimate Style universe headed by Scott Snyder with Jason Aaron and Al Ewing to come into play after Absolute Power. And it's certainly setting up events in Absolute Power so we can see all the heroes in the DC Comics universe lose their power. Don't know if that's a selling point, but that's what's coming up with Mark Waid and Dan Mora. I'll be taking a skip-a-rooney on that one, but I imagine a lot of you will probably be checking it out because that is a good creative team. But, you know, Mark Waid's an asshole, and I finally had enough, and that's just how I feel about that one. I will be reading this one, except for the Power Girl stuff. Obviously, I've been reading Superman in Action, enjoying them, although the Jason Aaron Bizarro Superman story just wasn't very compelling, and it didn't wrap up very well. But I've certainly been enjoying the Jeremy Adams Green Lantern stuff as well, so I'll probably be reading most of this one. And I'm not sure if we'll do a wrap-up on that one with Jim, because I don't know that this is a big enough event, but who knows? If it's good enough, we'll certainly do one. And I do want to say, if you're looking for more coverage of comic books or maybe reviews and all that kind of stuff, there is one place to be. Well, certainly here on Thinking Critical YouTube, but also on the Thinking Critical Patreon, you get a lot more coverage. We are not constrained by YouTube and their censorship and their time constraints. We do lots of podcasts, 8 hours of brand new podcast material every single week on the Patreon. Definitely check that one out. There's a link in the video description, and we'll be all over all this kind of stuff. And I'll probably make Jim read the Power Girl stuff just so we know what happens there as well.